Hi everyone. I hope you've all had a good day. My name is Simon Nakra. I'm the CRO of Conversant Technology. And in today's webinar, we'd like to talk about working smarter, not harder. And we're going to be talking about inside Vistry Group's unified comms journey. So the agenda for today is we're going to cover some introductions, and then we're going to talk with Ben from the Vistry Group. That will go into not so much an interview, but more of an informal chat. And then we're going to talk about any signs to look out for if you're in a similar situation. And then if we have time, we'll go through a live Q&A. So I'll start with who is Conversant. So we're a platform provider and we specialize in unified communications for Microsoft Teams. So we have a solution called C360, and that encompasses things like Teams calling, contact center, social messaging, interaction recording, and Power BI reporting and analytics. We basically offer integrated solutions, so we can integrate with any back-end platform, whether that's a CRM system or whether that's a database. So essentially what we can do is provide a completely consolidated solution should any company decide to go down the Microsoft Teams route. So Ben, if you could just please introduce yourself and what you do at Vistry Group and what your role entails.
Yeah, hi Simon. So I'm Ben Rich, I'm Group IT Director for Vistry Group. So I've recently just moved into the role actually in April and oversee all the IT functions for our internal IT. So this is covering anything from the service desk right through to security. Probably more in my previous role was in service delivery, where I worked with a team on implementing solutions for our construction sites, sales and services teams, such as their telephony.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ben. So what does Vistry Group actually do as a business?
So Vistry Group are one of the UK's leading house builders and developing in partnerships. Our partnership model focuses on delivering high quality, affordable housing across the UK, and our leading consumer brands are Bovis Homes, Linden Homes, and Countryside Homes.
Brilliant. Thank you. So Ben, I thought what we'll talk about first is the challenges and issues that you may have had with your previous telephony platform. So if you could actually describe your previous telephony architecture, whether that was cloud, on-premise, SIP trunk, a vendor mix, and what limitations stood out for you?
Yeah, of course. So I won't go too far back. So probably around 2019, we'd fully migrated everyone to, we'd actually moved everyone to Skype. And within there, we did actually have integration to our CRM. We then went through our first acquisition and Microsoft moved from Skype to Teams. So we upgraded everyone to Teams. Unfortunately, we then initially lost the ability to use our CRM integrations out the box with Teams, which affected our customer service and our sales teams. Through the acquisition, we were then using a mix of Teams, Ring Central, and we just implemented Cirrus contact center into our customer service team, and we were just at the start of that. So we had a real mix of all cloud solutions, but a real mixed bag, different user experiences, lots of support for our IT team. So it was modern, but had its problems. So.
Yeah, I can get that challenging times. So what were your actual top three telephony challenges then before you started evaluating a new solution? And how did that impact the business from a cost, customer service, and compliance perspective?
Yeah, I think this goes back to having a mix of solutions and a mix of user experiences. So again, we had multiple contracts running with different contact center providers, which was very costly. Obviously, consolidating that always works out better for us. From an end user perspective, we had multiple training guides, user guides, and from an IT support, we weren't able to slim our support team down as we were constantly answering queries and questions and needing to set up new starters, depending on which area in the business they were in, depended on whether they had CRM functionality, whether they didn't, whether they were part of a call group or whether they were needing to use their own line. So yeah, just add levels of complexity, and this really just detracted the staff from being able to do the job that they needed to do, which was supporting our customers. So
Right. Okay. Thank you, Ben. So, with regards to your previous telephony platform, did you have any integration with your CRM and back office systems, or was it just limited?
No, so once we'd moved from Skype, there was we had a zero, and then we did have limited once we brought in a contact center sort of provider, which loosely attached to Teams. But I mean, this functionality, all it would pretty much do was just pull us through a customer's name, but would need the customer service advisor to actually answer the call before being able to see any of those details. So it wasn't the best experience. They'd know who they were answering the call to, but wouldn't know any background appointments that were raised, queries that were raised, or previous calls or history of conversations that had happened.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Ben. So, in a nutshell, a number of cloud solutions. Yes, you were fully in the cloud, but a bit disjointed, limited integration with CRM, so not really a joined up system. And then essentially your customer service agents couldn't really function as well as they could do. I suppose that's pretty much where you're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it in a nutshell. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. So let's talk about scoping a new solution then. So, what were your must-haves versus nice-to-have when it comes to a new solution?
Yeah, for us, top of the list was simplicity. As we just talked about, we needed the staff to get back to what they do best, which was supporting our customers. So we needed it to be as simple and work with a telephony system that they know. So for us, we had fully moved to Teams. So for us, a must-have was finding something that integrated very seamlessly with Microsoft Teams. That would improve our customer service and also compliance as well. We had no out of the box reporting. We actually had no reporting at all, no dashboards or call queues to see how many customers we actually had waiting. No, we weren't able to track SLAs to understand how long it was before our calls were actually answered. So those were some of the must-haves, and also the CRM integration as well. That was very important to our teams before we lost that functionality. So bringing that back in was a complete must-have for us, and to find that wrapped up in Teams is exactly the solution we were looking for. Nice to haves were going to be the additional bells and whistles on top, being able to possibly listen in on calls and being able to maybe whisper to the agent, understand what was happening on the call, being able to route the calls more effectively so that they get answered based on maybe the data that we hold in our CRM. So we know what we wanted from a basic calling platform, and we knew what really good looked like as well. So
Awesome, that's brilliant. So, were there actually any features that were non-negotiable?
Um, I think for us it was that top one. We had spoken to many vendors and all claimed to work seamlessly with Microsoft Teams, and that for us was a real blocker, and that was that really was a must have. We wouldn't drop. We didn't want to be using separate apps. We didn't want to. We had one core telephony system in our business, and it needed to integrate with that, and also the CRM integration. Those were just non-negotiables. Reporting we can
Yeah,
probably pull from other sources, but those for us were the core functionality that we needed.
brilliant. So, obviously, glad to say that Vistry Group obviously chose Conversant as your provider, and I'm really happy about that, Ben. We've been working together now for what, nearly 3 years? I think it's
Yeah.
coming to now. Excellent. So, if we talk about choosing the right solution, what measurable outcomes have you achieved since adopting C360, and what do you anticipate achieving in the near term?
Yeah, so I think for us, we've achieved that. As we said, that simplicity for our teams to get back and answering the calls as quickly as they can. Our customer service directors and sales managers are now able to measure SLAs effectively, and see the amount of failed and achieved calls. Our calls are being routed right the first time rather than needing to be passed around. And I think for us, we are now looking to bring in AI functionality into that, which we've been in conversation with, to understand how we can again release some of that time for our agents to deal more in depth with customers, rather than needing to answer maybe more simple queries or routing of
Mm.
calls. So that's definitely our next step on what we want to achieve from our system.
Excellent. So, among your evaluation candidates, how did C360 compare when it came to the features you wanted and the price point?
Yeah, so this one was very different for us. So it's not normal that you would go online, select that you want a demo, and actually be up and running with a full system within, I think,
Mm,
15, 20 minutes. And
yeah.
that really isn't me exaggerating. It was clear that it was built on the Azure platform. We instantly just needed to almost integrate with it and allow our system to be able to talk to it through SSO, and we were able to get this demo up and running. So we were creating call queues and able to use that immediately. So from a price point and features, again, the pricing element for it was slightly different to what we'd seen on others as well. You know, this is based on queues rather than agents, and for us that was a big factor because actually the setup of the way that we are in our business made it much more attractive for us. So in terms of features, there were features within this that we saw straight away that we hadn't seen through any others, and that's not just being demoed. We were actually using those features all within about 15, 20 minutes. Along with the development that we've had from yourselves for that CRM integration as well. It does come out the box with a very intelligent CRM integration, but obviously we went a bit bespoke and we had you guys help us with our own CRM solution. So yeah, for us, everything that came out from there, we're struggling to find that competitively anywhere else. So
Yeah, because you obviously use Microsoft Dynamics as your CRM, right?
correct, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. So, which aspects of C360 contributed most to the ROI relative to your previous solution?
Um, I think for us it was that up and running straight away. It was the hand holding throughout through the deployment of it. It was the custom development that we had and the time that was spent to handle that. As we said, we've built a custom solution. You guys have built that for us, and that for us has allowed our agents to do, as we say, the work that they needed to do. They're presented with the information, and that information can change, especially in our sector, from month to month of what's important, what needs to be displayed to them. So being able to change that as and when we need to gives us a lot more flexibility there for that. And again, as we're able to manage such a simple solution in house, actually it means it's released a lot of support resource from us as an IT function to kind of pass some of these controls down to the departments themselves and make sure that it's all in line with the security measures that we put in place at the moment. So yeah, for us, we didn't find any of these features through our previous solution at all.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ben. Okay, so what we'll finish off on then is giving any advice and guidance for businesses in a similar position. As you know, Ben, and you've really helped us with this as well. We're talking now to a number of housing developers, for example, and I know they've had individual chats with you as well with regards to learning about your experience and any lessons learned and things like that. So first question, what top three objectives were you aiming to achieve with telephony modernization, and why were they prioritized?
Yeah, so I think this comes back to what we addressed slightly earlier. It's just that simplicity, being able to provide a better customer service, and then the compliance there as well. And we've talked through those. I think some of our priorities in trying to get there and some of the difficulties that we had. Anyone else that uses Microsoft Teams will understand that there are limitations to facing numbers out to customers, and that's very important, especially to customers that know your business and are expecting a call. You want to present the right numbers out dialing, and that was always a challenge that we found with other providers. Whereas obviously the platform allows us to be able to do that and present the numbers that we need outwardly. So I think those were our three priorities, and as I said, we managed to achieve those by delivering simplicity, improving our customer service, and improving the compliance on the calling.
Excellent. So, what common missteps should other businesses avoid during vendor selection pilots and any migration type activities?
Yeah, so the biggest one for us was going. We spoke to a lot of vendors over the past probably 3 years prior to yourselves, and a lot of that was we were presented with demos that maybe features were shown within a demo that didn't fit right within our environment, or may not work within our environment, and we didn't actually know that until getting to the point of being able to bring it in. As I said, for Conversant, we were able to be up and running with a demo in our environment and testing those features straight away. So do always be cautious about the features that you're seeing there, and whether they're right for you and are going to work in your environment. Secondly, I would just say understanding exactly what those features are. A lot of the features that are put out are, let's call them, I guess, nice to have bells and whistles on top. And sometimes actually we realize that our customer service teams and sales teams weren't looking for that. They wanted that simplicity of a calling platform they were used to, not using multiple apps. So again, it's just really understanding what the wants and needs are of those that the telephony is actually going to be used by, and drilling into those and making sure that it can use those. As we found with yourselves, we got that core calling platform, and then we had the bespoke work done on top once we had actually rolled out the platform.
Brilliant. Right, Ben, I've got one final question for you then. Right, so if you were to write a 2 or 3 page guidance note for a peer in a similar position, what would be your headline takeaways?
Headline takeaways.
Yeah.
Well, personally, I would say if you're looking for a telephony system that integrates very well with Microsoft Teams and seamlessly out the box, then do speak to Conversant, speak to Simon. But yeah, I mean, for us, it has changed the way that we work. As you know, we were looking for this calling platform for many years, ever since moving to Teams, and due to the lack of functionality, we just weren't able to find it. So yeah, I think for us, it's ticks all of our boxes, especially the shared line aspect of that as well, being able to allow departments calling out from one central number, management of queues, especially with working from home as well. It's improved things massively with working from home, having that visibility of a dashboard, understanding where the other agents are, understanding what availability is available on the queue, to maybe coincide with lunches or breaks or back office work, for instance. All of the features that have been brought to us have allowed to give us that. So yeah, it's definitely changed the way that we work.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Ben. Obviously, there was a lot of questions there, but you answered them really, really well. And hopefully that's given a lot of other companies an insight into challenges and what to look out for when scoping a new solution, choosing the right solution, and really just going through the lessons of, any challenges you've had from a previous solution and what you take that moving forward. So I just really want to finish on a couple of last slides, really. So, as we spoke about, there is a big issue with fragmented comms. It can become an issue because if you're using many different solutions and they're not very well integrated together, they essentially work in silos. So you may have one department doing something, one task, and then you've got another department doing another task, but they're not naturally aligned. And especially, if you've got back-end systems like CRM or SharePoint or anything like that, and you've got real customer valuable information, and if a agent takes a call and the information is not there, it becomes a real issue. And, that's really where customer service could be a lot more efficient. So really, that's really it from me. I don't know if we've had any questions. Let me just check the chat. I don't know. I can't really see anything. Steph, is there any questions come through?
Doesn't look to be any questions, Simon, but I am around for a few minutes if anyone wants to ask any questions at all about how we implemented obviously our calling platform or problems that we've had before. Equally, if you would like to reach out, I'm always open to answering any questions you may have on LinkedIn or via email. But yeah, well, Simon, happy to answer any further questions from you if we've got the time.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like I think it's coming toward the end of the day, so probably people want to go over bed. But yeah, look, if you do have any questions, you've got our contact details. You can reach out to us. As I said, Ben has helped me with a number of conversations with potential customers, and he's been a real asset to this type of conversation. So if you do want to reach out, our details are there. You can see them on the slide. This webinar will be emailed to all the delegates, so you'll get that information as well. But really, that's all I want to say. So Ben, again, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it. And thank you for everyone that attended this webinar. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Simon.